Hello, everybody. If you're in the chat, do let me know if you can see me and hear me. We've had a bit of technical difficulty here today, a little bit of computer conflict. But if you're in the chat and you can see and hear me, please let me know. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jay Hartman, Editor-in-Chief for Untreed Reads Publishing. In the chat is Untreed Reads CEO Katie Sullivan, my chat hostess extraordinaire, Sandra Murphy. Today, no gizmo. It's a lot cooler here than it has been. It's actually downright cold. I do have a fire in the fireplace right behind me. It's a gas fireplace, but it's a little bit of a conflict for Gizmo because if he's with me up here, it's going to be too warm, and he's got his own little personal heater in his home. But Gizmo does send all his best to all of you, and hopefully he will turn up again on a episode not too far in the future. Hope your Hanukkah is going great. If you are someone who celebrates Hanukkah, we're about halfway through the holiday now, maybe a little more than that. Heading nonstop towards Christmas, and then, thank God, the end of this dumpster fire year that was 2020, and getting on towards New Year's Eve. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing this year go away. And welcome to everybody that's in the chat. Much appreciate having all of you here. If you do get a moment, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to like this video. It helps us get the video out to other folks so they can see what we're up to here at Untreed Reads. Want to talk a little bit this week about holiday stories. I think a lot of people kind of associate Untreed Reads with our Thanksgiving anthology, The Killer Wore Cranberry. When we did our Thanksgiving episode, it has the most views of any of our videos, so definitely appreciate all of you tuning in for that. But we've always covered other holidays as well. Maybe not to the same extent. Thanksgiving is still one of my favorite holidays because I get to feed my face and I have a cheap excuse to do so. But that whole period from October through January is kind of my favorite time of year. When we started out with Untreed Reads, we really were just doing short stories. We didn't have any full lengths. So it's always interesting to me, like this year we had an Enchanting Regency Christmas, which is a full collection of Regency Christmas novellas from Edith Layton that we released in time for the holidays. And I think back to 8 to 10 years ago when we were starting out and everything was a short story. And I remember putting out calls for short stories in any genre that would be good for the holidays, and didn't so many publishers like, oh, it has to have a happy ending. Oh, it's got to be really cheerful. It's the holidays. Nobody wants to be sad. And I was like, so let's do some horror stories and kill some people, because that's always fun. So I want to talk a bit about some of our hidden gems from our backlist that you may not know about, you may not have heard of. So many of our authors are very well known, but it's some of these smaller short stories that really have a place in my heart. It's one of those things where, in the chat today is Joshua, and you know what, Joshua, I'm gonna probably end up butchering your name. Go figure, because I just realized I've probably never said it out loud before. But Joshua Calkins Trilogy is someone who's been with us since just about day one of Untreed Reads, and wrote a slew of short stories for us set in the fictional city of Amelia, and wasn't afraid to tackle the horror of Christmas with sleigh bells. And that was so much fun getting to do a horror piece. And by all means, check out Joshua's collection, Roads Through Amelia. There's so much good stuff in there that's not just for the holidays, but for really any time of year. Just fantastic stuff. We do have some Hanukkah stories. If you folks have heard of T. Lee Harris, She's a phenomenal author. She's done a great short story called Hanukkah Gelt. That's more along the lines of, think Clive Cussler, action adventure sort of thing. Pretty rare to have a Jewish protagonist, pretty rare to have a sort of crime action adventure in a short story that gets all wrapped up by the end. But Hanukkah Gelt is another one of those really terrific short stories that, I got it in and I was like, wow, this is, not just kids sitting around playing with dreidels and eating chocolate gelt. These are, a really fantastic story, a great way of telling a tale. We also distribute several other publishers, and if you have somebody young in your life that's looking for maybe something that's more young adult, A Season of Miracles by Ed Goldberg. That's a great Hanukkah story that's really takes place at the end of World War II. That's published by our friends over at Unsealed Press, Judith Glad. She's phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Love them to death. But that's another one of those stories that's kind of flown under the radar. I don't think a whole lot of folks have seen, but Season of Miracles is really terrific. Now, in terms of Christmas, we have done a lot of Regency Christmas. Barbara Metzger, of course, we've done 2 collections with her, an Enchanted Christmas and Greetings of the Season. That's the other one. Wow, boy, sometimes I'm. You'd think after 700 titles or whatever, I'd always keep them straight in my head. So we've done those 2 collections with her. We've actually done 2 with Edith Layton as well, an Enchanting Regency Christmas, and the other one, it'll come to me, or Katie will hit me up and let me know what that other title is that I'm blanking out at the moment. Sorry, guys, I'm a little scattered today. Going back to the short stories, though, we had a really interesting story submitted, I think it's going on 8 years ago now, called Christmas Baby by Johnny Miles. And it's 1957, and John wakes up to find out his parents are missing on Christmas Eve morning. And it leads to a whole family discussion. We've never been one to stray away from LGBTQ titles. I'm open. My husband and I celebrate both Hanukkah and Christmas. And to me, having stories that show a diverse background of people is always important to me too. So Christmas Baby definitely falls under the LGBTQ short story arena. We've also done short stories for Christmas from Victor Banas, who of course is one of the most legendary LGBT authors of all time. Sadly, he's no longer with us. Along the same lines, we've done a short story from Corey Calkins called Christmas Past and Present. And with that one, 2 men are expecting their son Josh home for Christmas, and things proceed to go a little haywire. Susan Furlong Bollinger did one called Dead Giveaway, involving a family coming back together at Christmas time, and entangled in a mystery that has $1 million at stake. That's another classic. Herschel Cozine, who has been with us, really almost from day one, has such a sweet, sweet literary story called Delinquency Report that we published close to, that one's probably going on close to 10 years too. That's a nice little historical literary piece that Herschel wrote regarding a very young kid that's a shoplifter at Christmas and the lesson that he learns. Katie has just pointed out to me, It's a Wonderful Regency Christmas is the other Edith Layton title. Thank you, Katie. Always good to have an extra set of eyes going on there. We just have so many titles. If you do get the chance, head over to store.untreedreads.com. In the top search box on the top left, If you type in the word Christmas, you will see that it pulls up tons of results of all the different books that we have available for the holiday season. You can also search for Hanukkah. You'll pull up our titles for those as well. All those titles, ebook, most of our Christmas titles are going to be in ebook only. Several of them are also available in print and hardcover. I should add that right now through Christmas, our friends at DriveThruFiction.com are running a 30% off sale on all of our genre titles. So that's horror, mystery, sci-fi, romance. If it's genre, it's on sale. And all those short stories that I've mentioned are listed over there. They're normally only 99 cents anyway. Some are even, were listed for less than that for promo. It's not impossible. You could run over there and grab some of these great short stories we're talking about for as low as 50 cents. Great way to pick up some really inexpensive reading for your cozy inside stay. Also, I should add that if any of these ebooks do appeal to you, you can gift any of our ebooks to anyone on your holiday shopping list. All you need to do is go to the book's detail page, check the box that says this is a gift. When you check out, the book will be added to your bookshelf, but it'll have a line where you can enter the email address for the person that you want to receive it. They'll get an email and they'll come to our site, log in, and be able to download the ebook to the device of their choice. As always, if you shop through us or if you shop through DriveThruFiction.com, you're paying one price but getting 3 formats. So we don't believe in making you buy a book 3 times just to get the format you want. So at both our store and DriveThruFiction, you'll get PDF, which is the most popular format in the world, EPUB, which is the second most popular, and Kindle. You get all 3 for one price. So can't go wrong with giving a gift because one of those formats is guaranteed to work, no matter what device your recipient has. We're getting a little close to the edge here of being able to get out any type of print titles to arrive in time for Christmas. We're not quite past the stage yet of being too late, but we're right on the cusp. So if you were thinking about that, I can tell you that orders through our site and through anybody except Amazon are being processed in about 5 to 7 business days. We're talking about print and paperback and hardcover. If you do attempt to go get any of our print or hardcovers through Amazon, you're looking at about a 3-week lead time right now. That's because they are giving priority to publishers that are bigger than us, whereas Ingram, who is our primary print-on-demand publisher, believes in treating all publishers equally, and therefore they're still processing all of our orders within about 5 business days and getting those out as soon as possible. So it doesn't matter, again, if you order through our store or through your favorite independent or basically just anywhere except Amazon, Ingram is still processing all of those order requests in about 5 business days. We're very grateful to them. It's been a really great, smooth holiday season for us to be able to get books out to folks. Don't forget also, if you're looking to do a custom book, that's something we can offer that most other places don't. So if you want to have a special dedication or inscription added to the book itself, you can do that. You just go to the detail page of the book that you want to purchase, enter your information in the line provided. There's a small charge for that, and it actually gets inserted as an extra page into the book right before the title page. It becomes a one-of-a-kind paperback. We've had quite a few of those going out this holiday season, folks making special requests. I love it. I love the idea that you can do something personalized. A lot of folks have been recognizing some older birthdays, holiday season, things like that. Great way to just make something different. And for authors, it's a great way to not have to worry about, okay, how do I get the copy to me? And then I got to sign it and then I got to send it on to somebody else. Being able to just have that inscription in there saves a whole lot of trouble. So that's enough of the pushing of the books. I'll settle up by just saying again, feel free to stop by store.untreedreads.com and do a search for Christmas. You can do the same thing over at drivethroughfiction.com, or do a search for Hanukkah. You'll find all of our titles there. And again, 30% off now through Christmas at Drive Through Fiction. But I also want to talk about the gifting of books. Even going back way to the early days of print in general, it was sort of considered a luxury in the beginning to give a book as a gift. Printing in the early days was expensive, unless you were doing something very inexpensive like pamphlets. The printing press, of course, would revolutionize things to make books a lot more affordable. But it still was a while. Books were always looked at as that sort of premium gift that you would get for a birthday or a holiday. And to me, I've always, I can definitely remember as a kid and really still now, getting books, getting gift cards to bookstores, even now still holds a lot of personal sway to me. To me, there's nothing better than being able to have my pick of whatever book I want. It's a lot harder to find time to read for fun than it used to be. Thankfully, I've been catching up a little bit lately on some reading, but the books I've always received as gifts are the ones I've kind of held on to forever. I remember a drugstore in my little town of Manlius, New York, which, if you don't know, Manlius is a little suburb of Syracuse. But growing up, we had a drugstore that had this big spinner rack that was up by the front counter, and in it would be these little short books. Probably no more than yay high, perfectly square. And they were called Great Illustrated Classics. And on the left side, you would have an illustration, and on the right side, you would have the text. And these were pretty much designed for kids, but I remember every birthday, every Hanukkah, getting at least one of these as a gift. I would get the Count of Monte Cristo is probably the one that I remember the most. That and A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. And I probably read those 20 million times back to back to back. It was funny because years later, when I was a Walden bookstore manager, the first year when I was managing, I was looking in the clearance bin, and in the clearance bin were the Great Illustrated Classics that I remembered as a kid, but they had made them regular book size. And I remember being just horribly disappointed. There was that part of me that still wanted to pick them up and collect them and get them, but without it being in that same square format that I had received as a kid for all of those presents. It didn't have the same feel to it. But that's still a series that I like to give as a gift to people when they're kind of like, oh, well, what do I get a kid that doesn't necessarily like to read, or it's kind of on the cusp of moving into more complicated books, but not quite there yet. It hasn't quite left illustrated behind. I remember moving a lot of those every holiday season at Walden Books. I'm curious, for all the folks that are in the chat, what books have you received as gifts over the years? What were some of your favorites? Do you like to give gifts? Do you give books as gifts? I did make the mistake one year of pretty much everybody in my family got a book for Christmas. And I know I've said Hanukkah and Christmas. I've had sort of two different families in my life. So one family, it was all Hanukkah gifts, and then another year and then the rest of the time was all Christmas. But one year I gave everybody in my family a book, and my dad was big on art, so I'd given him a great art book. My mom was a huge General Hospital fan, and I remember that particular year there had been this big picture book that came out with the entire history of General Hospital. And I thought, oh man, she's going to love that. I remember taking it home and her unwrapping it, and just didn't happen. She was disappointed, I think, not to get perfume. And I think another year I'd given her she had said she wanted to try audiobooks, and I had given her Dolly Parton's autobiography on audio, and I think she said she got through like half of it and had to shut it off. And that was kind of the end of me giving books as gifts. My husband Luis, not a reader, so he definitely does not get books under the tree for him. Josh says Mouse by Art Spiegelman was a fabulous gift he received. That's an amazing book. If you folks aren't familiar with Mouse, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, it's won like a gazillion awards. It's a illustrated telling of World War II and Nazi Germany, but with essentially mice in the roles. It's just a phenomenal piece. If you haven't seen it, that's really one of those ones that should be a must read on everybody's pile. It continues to be an incredible seller year after year. You'll always see it on somebody's favorites list for a year. Josh also said that his all-time favorite was a box set of Chronicles of Narnia. Yes. I'm right there with you, Josh, on that one. The Chronicles of Narnia is one of those great gift series where you give it to somebody who's like in that sort of mid-teen, you can even do preteen if they're a good reader, and they enjoy it as just the fantasy novels. But then when people are a little bit more worldly and they learn a lot about religion and religious symbolism, if you go back and read the Chronicles of Narnia, then it becomes this completely different book series. And you just see all of this symbolism, and you realize just how amazing C.S. Lewis was in the creation of that series. The fact that it can be, two series basically for two different reading groups. I wasn't that excited when the movie adaptations came along. I still think, usually the book is better than the movie. But those books were, those books got me through a lot of middle school, a lot of high school. And, they're great for rereading, especially it's one of those series where people always start with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe because it's the most known of the series. And that's actually not the first book of the series. So I remember at Walden Books, they finally released a box set where the whole series was properly numbered and put in its correct order. So that, I think, not Prince Caspian, one of the other books, though, that actually everybody always read later in the series was actually book one, and they got it reordered correctly. Katie asks if I have a suggestion for an ebook subscription service to give. Actually, not for ebooks right now. I don't know of anybody that's doing an ebook subscription program, except I think maybe Tor for science fiction is still doing an ebook subscription. And of course, there is Kindle Unlimited that you can gift someone for unlimited reading for a year. But on the book subscription side, there is an amazing one for children, for regular print books. I used to work for this incredible bookstore in San Carlos, California called The Reading Bug. The Reading Bug has a box subscription program where every month they will curate a box of books for your child of all types of, based on their reading level, based on their age, and they'll curate it and handpick the books for that reading level. Amazing stuff. Katie pointed out Scribd or Freeding or Google Play. Google Play doesn't actually have a subscription program. They do have a family share program where if the publisher has opted into it, then if you purchase one book from Google Books, anybody else that's on your family share can go ahead and read that book as well. Katie mentioned Freeding, but Freeding is actually a library vendor. Scribd is another one Katie mentioned. Scribd is a subscription program, very similar to what you would have through Kindle Unlimited. Probably not the number of titles you would see through Kindle Unlimited, but Scribd is a good independent company to have to be able to do an all-you-can-read subscription service. Storytel out of Scandinavia is another one that we do business with that has an all-you-can-read model. Lots and lots of library vendors are moving to that model as well. So we're excited to see that there's a lot more of unlimited reading going on. We're a fan of it. We still, it's a lot harder to sell individual copies of books rather than how easy it is for somebody to be able to go to their public library, check it out, and we get paid every time somebody reads the book. And that's the case with Scribd or Freeding. Overdrive has a click and pay model, Storytel. So really, those are almost better models than trying to actually sell individual copies to individual people. If you're getting, Kindle would be the only one that I would say doesn't work that way. Because unless you remove your book from sale everywhere in the world and only enroll it in Kindle Unlimited, that's the only way you get paid for it. Whereas all the other book subscription models in the world, you get paid every time you get read. It's one of the reasons why we've avoided going into Kindle Unlimited. It's not our job to tell people how they can read a book or where they can read a book. Our job is to tell them about the book. So if they have a Scribd unlimited reading subscription model and they want to go in there and read all of our titles, great. My folks are going to get paid every time they get read. If they're at Storytel, same thing. Their library happens to be Freeding. My folks get paid every time that book gets checked out of the library. Great models, great businesses to work with. I really, really appreciate those models quite a bit. Katie asked if we offer gift certificates through Untreed Reads. We don't. There is a limitation issue with our older website that keeps us from being able to do gift certificates, but you can absolutely gift the books itself, and lots of other companies offer gifting. You can certainly gift books through Amazon. You can gift books, I believe, through Barnes & Noble. Apple, I believe, lets you do it as well. Karen Keeley mentioned she got hardcovers as a child. She still has like Black Beauty, Treasure Island, and her all-time favorite, East of the Sun, West of the Moon. You know what? I have a copy of Black Beauty somewhere also in hardcover that I think was my mom's that she passed on to us, along with Hans Christian Andersen Fairy Tales was another hardcover. Also, my mom had, as a child, a lot of the Bobbsey Twins and Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. And she passed those on to my sister and I. And then for quite a while, we would get those hardcovers as well for holiday presents. I remember when they switched over to paperbacks, we'd start getting paperbacks, but still was always the hardcovers that were always one of those great things. Claire says she would have loved the Tarzan series. Tarzan was one of those things that was really, really popular for a long time. Saw a little bit of a resurgence in the late 80s, early 90s, and then Burroughs that whole estate sort of locked things up with Tarzan, and we haven't seen quite as much of it over the years. But I know so many kids that would get the Tarzan books for holidays. So in terms of talking about the gift certificates and not being available, it's no surprise our website is definitely out of date. The fact that we're able to do as much as we can with it is terrific. But 2021 is the year that we are going to change that website. It's going to require a lot of help. We will be launching a Kickstarter, hopefully in January, February, the latest, to help us raise some money to bring a lot of our ebooks into print with a stretch goal of getting our website redone as well. We've had plenty of folks, comment on the fact that the website is old. Hey, we get it. Our focus has been on our books and our authors and our promotion, and getting the word out. But rest assured, it is no secret to us that our website could use some tender loving care. It is absolutely happening next year. Again, we're going to need some help from all of you out there, from our authors, from our readers. We have things lined up. We know how we want it all to work. We just need some help raising the funds to get it all done. So again, look for a Kickstarter coming in January or February to get us on the road towards the print-on-demand books that we want to take care of, as well as that stretch goal of getting our website overhauled. So thank you very much, everybody. It was another great Sunday with all of you. I appreciate all of you being here in the chat. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get notified whenever there are new posts coming up. Be sure to like this video as well. That helps us get the word out to more folks as to what we're up to, and helps spread the word on our authors to folks that might not have discovered them. If you're having Hanukkah right now, have a really terrific Hanukkah. There's a really good possibility you'll see me again before Christmas, and you will definitely see me again before New Year's. For now, take care, be good, stay well, and enjoy your reading. Bye-bye.